So today is the first day that I have been home from my trips and not had to work. So it's time to reset the space and get acclimated to being back home. This is a done with travel reset video. Task number one, got to go to South Carolina to get fireworks. It is July 2nd as we speak, and nobody has done that yet for our 4th of July party. So I'm taking care of that this morning. Firework time. Here we go.
American-made products delivered.
And guys, for those that did not exist before, they were trying to film that.
That's kind of wild.
Fireworks are secured. Now for the drive back home. Another hour. Here we go. Something that I didn't show you guys in my packing vlog, which is my last video. Here's the thumbnail. Check it out. It's in the description. But watch this whole video first. Was the camera gear that I took with me on this trip to Yosemite. So I'm going to show you guys that now, just because I didn't show it to you guys then. It's kind of already all packed up. Now it's not. I've got it here. So camera gear time. Let's do it. So we'll start right away with the kind of like lesser used things that I used for this trip. GoPro and then the drone. The drone didn't quite come in as handy as I would have wanted it to. Now I kind of know for the future whenever I do national park trips how to kind of work around that, and I'll do a little bit more research. And then I have GoPro. I didn't use it a lot either just because I wasn't in a lot of GoPro situations. Sometimes I did use it a little bit, but not a ton. And along with the GoPro, I also have this little holy stick that floats, and it's got this little orange tip so you can find it if you lose it. Again, we didn't do anything really that required like a waterproof camera or nothing that I felt not comfortable putting my actual camera into use for. So GoPro I did use a little bit, but not a ton. After that, the kind of like second thing that was not like the most obvious is like tripods and mounts and things of that nature. So this is the pod that I use. This is the Manfrotto Pixie. It is pretty good. I have a Gorilla Pod as well. I did bring it. I didn't use it. I kind of need to replace it because it's taken a bit of a beating. But I use this mostly as like some sort of a holding apparatus, less so as like the actual tripod, because whenever you're in like those outdoor kind of situations, you never really get like a flat base for it to sit on, you know, unless you're like really particular about it. So, but this is kind of like what I held most of the time carrying my camera. And if you can ever like have something like this to hold, you can usually get more stable footage than holding to the actual camera body. So that's why I recommend something like this, and this is just kind of what I went with. Alongside the actual camera itself, my phone was another primary shooter. So I did bring, you know, various phone mounts and phone adapters for the top of my tripod. Not this exact one, but you know, some variation of that is what I was using. Also handheld, you know, it's not like that big of a deal. The most important piece of gear that I brought with me on this trip was my actual camera itself. This is the apparatus here. It's a Canon M50 Rode Video Micro shotgun mic, and that was pretty much everything that I was using for 90% of the shots that I got. Alongside the camera, and the most important accessory for it, bar none, was this. This is a neutral density filter. It was very sunny, very bright, and that just makes shooting conditions a lot better for that. So that's pretty much all of the gear that I packed. Obviously backup batteries, backup mem cards, the kind of boring stuff like that. But when it comes to actual cameras and mounts and stuff like that, it was GoPro, drone, primary camera here, and then variations of mounts and grips and things like that. So that's all the camera gear that I pretty much packed for my trip to Yosemite. You guys will see that content coming soon. So when we left to go on our trip, the weather here in central North Carolina wasn't as terrible as it is right now. It's high 90s every day. It's muggy and horrible outside. And my room's at the front of the house, so it gets the most sunlight. Like it's on the west side of the house, and it gets the most sunlight. It's super hot and it's miserable and it sucks so bad. And I've had this problem ever since I've lived here. And so my solution for it last year, which I think worked pretty well, I don't really remember, was this thing. This is like a little mini kind of AC unit thing that kind of works, and so we are going to reinstitute this bad boy because it is horrible in here and outside. So hopefully this works again. I'm gonna have to create some space for it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. Basically, the way that it works is you pull the air filter out of here, so it kind of slides out, and then you run water over it and put it in your freezer, freeze it, and then it's basically just an ice block filter in front of this, pushing out cold air. And that's kind of how it works. It isn't insane by any stretch of the imagination. It's not as good as like a window unit or as better AC or whatever, but it does help in some ways, and it costs like $30. So I probably got it on Amazon. I know that we sell it at Home Depot because I work at Home Depot. But I'll show you guys kind of how it works towards the end of this video while that thing's freezing. The living space is in much better shape than it was before, so that's good news. I finally feel like I'm home from my trip, and I'm finally like properly reset, ready to work, ready to get back to it. I think that resetting your space is super important, and that was postponed just due to having to work for the past couple days. So yeah, I'm glad to be home, glad to be reset, glad to be everything else. It finally feels like I'm back. So, and I closed my window, so now it's not so hot in here. So that's also pretty cool.